Hello, my friends. John LaRuffa here with another Straight Up Solo. And in this episode, we're going to take a look at the Arkham Travel Guide. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, folks, and as usual, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. And if you have, I really do appreciate that support. Thank you very much. So this game is basically a route building, connecting type of game where you're trying to get these different types of tourists to connect with the buildings that they favor as much as possible. And depending on whichever one of the old ones you play, you're trying to avoid these horrible locations which give you insanity, and also you're trying to avoid gaining too much insanity anyway. Otherwise, you'll go insane at the end. You could lose, or you could lose points. Now, in the solo game, you have to not only beat a specific score, you have to also, to get a bronze, silver, or gold, beat the old one, score enough points against the old one to achieve each of these 15 points, 30 points, or 45 points when you're scoring the old one phase at the very end. Okay? And the way the game's played is you are going to roll the dice 10 times. And when you roll the dice, and that's because it's a 10-round game, you then use those dice as coordinates in your city and as selectors for the tourists you're going to put down, and then you're going to draw routes from them. Now, you don't have to. If you can't, if the dice is full, if the coordinate is already full and there's no options, you can do a lesser action. So instead of putting all of the matching symbols in the space that's empty, you could put one symbol anywhere, and instead of drawing two lines that start out adjacent to a spot and then move from there, you can just put one line anywhere. At the very end of the game, you have to basically select your longest line, and everything in that line scores, and everything that isn't on that line gets erased. So you can't have a bunch of branching paths because that'll do you no good. You also have these little portals over here, which I've used already. I've used this to go from here to here, and so at the end of the game, I can connect that. And you have a personal objective to be able to connect, which I've circled this spot, and this spot. If you connect at least two of those, every line that's in that connection will be worth 1 point. Then finally, you have these curio cards where if you on your turn draw a line that connects to one of these curio shops, you get some special bonus, which could help you at the end of the game, help you right now, help you be flexible, etc. All right, so basically, I am playing against Dagon, and at the very end, I'm going to score points for every district, every block that I have people in adjacent to the river, and I'm going to lose points depending on how my rolls against him go. And basically, a 5 or a 6 is a successful roll, and then there's neutral rolls, and then there's rolls that, depending on how much sanity you've lost, you can actually count as negative rolls and have penalties associated with it. And each of these guys also gives you a special wrinkle. For instance, this one lets me cross over the river on these dead ends, but I lose a sanity for doing so. All right, let's go ahead and show you a couple rounds. So in the solo game, the way it works is you're going to choose from these 3 dice over here that are available to dictate where you're going to go. Now, it'd be helpful. The 5 and 6 would be here, or it could be here. I already went there, so that's not going to help me any. But this space isn't bad, except it's an empty space. It doesn't really contribute to anything that I've got going on. The 6-6 is over here, and that would contribute a little bit. It gets me at least 6 points. However, I've already gotten the 6 points by moving by it, so these spaces are basically the same. So I've kind of got this situation here that's not the greatest. And I might go with this 5-5 because at least I could draw over here and get back up. So what I'm going to do, not 5-5, 6-5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this dice and this die, and it doesn't matter which order you put them in. 6-5 will put me right here, okay? And that's what I'm going to do. So with that, I would mark a square on 6-5. And then this black card means I get to do this, secret lane. So I chart one of the route sections diagonally through a city block. So I get to add an additional. These are a little bit misleading because as far as I read this, just to let everybody know, and I'd like you guys to tell me if that's wrong, but I'm pretty sure, see, It says use this bonus to chart one additional route section. But it doesn't say additional here. And I wish it did, because then it would be very clear. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I want to get this. So I put my one person there, and then I'm going to mark one tourist down on the other die, which would be another square. So it'll be helpful if I have a bunch of square buildings that they like, which are the green ones. I have one of them way up here. Now, I have to draw one of these adjacent to where I am, okay? So what I'm going to do, actually, in this case, is, because I like the diagonal, but the diagonal won't help me up there one bit, and I need to get to here to get the tone. I guess I could put that anywhere. So let's do this. So let's go one over here so I get the 7 points. One over here so I can circle that, get this ancient tome. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to circle a +2. That'll help. If I roll a low dice, I can use the +2 to try to boost it up. Now, on the rules, it says use the bonus to chart one additional route section diagonally through any city block on your map. So I take that as I could basically put it anywhere I want right now. That doesn't help me. That doesn't help me. That doesn't help me because I'm going insane all over the place. So it's not the greatest of bonus at this moment. Maybe this wouldn't be the end of the world. Because, no, it's really not a good bonus for me. Because it'll just drive me nuts. And I think they're optional. I don't think they're required, but let's just see. Oh, so this is interesting. On the effect cards, which is what this is, it says, in phase 5, you may chart one of your route sections directionally. So that's not a bonus. That's not the curio one. That's different. So I don't have to do that diagonal. I can do it. I could have done it, or I could leave it. I'm going to leave it alone. It's not going to help me. All right, now, I take these dice that I previously rolled, put them over here, re-roll these dice, and then mark off the round. Let's play another round real quick so you can see more of it, okay? So I flip over this card, and it says, now, coordinate change. This is where I could do the plus or minus. I could do the diagonal one if I wanted. So I'm going to get this, and I'm going to get this, and I can use those at any time. That's how that works. Oh, shoot. Come on, John. I got to go to a curio shop before I can do that. All right, so what are my choices? 6-6, which is really not good. 1-6, which would put me way up here, or 6-1, which would put me way down here. 6-1 is probably not the end of the world because maybe I go through that. And again, I'm adding more insanity here, which is going to make it a little bit tougher on me at the end. But given the situation, I think I do want to do the 1-6. So 1-6 or 6-1, however you want to look at it, gives me 2 of these types and 1 of those, and then I have to draw anywhere I want. And in the case here, I think I'm going to have it come out of this portal and then go over here. Although I think it's better actually if I come out of the portal and go up there. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Because, yeah, we're going to go this way for 1 and this way for 2. And that way I'm starting to connect these. And I've also put some connections here. So I better find a way to glue it all together or I'm going to be in real trouble. All right, so that's round 5. So these 1 and 3 were rolled previously, and then I roll this again, etc. So basically, you can see how this game flows pretty quickly. And the wrinkles come in for the fact that there's all these different conditions that you have going on here. And there's choices, lots of stuff you try to do, but they are limited by the coordinates you can choose. Now, at least I have some difference here. I go 3-1, 1-3, 3-6, 1-6, 6-3, etc. So I can do that. And if I really don't like any of them, you don't get stuck. You can just like make small progress. Now, at the end of the game, I told you you're going to be rolling to figure out what's going on here. What happens is you have to roll 3 dice, and on a 5 or 6, they count as a success. On anything less than that, you have to look at this right here and see how much insanity do you have. So let's say I have 3 things of insanity. That means on a 1 or a 2, I would actually take a negative consequence. But on a 3 or a 4, it would just be neutral. Nothing would happen. Again, if I'm going to win the solo, I've got to score well against this guy, which means I need to do a lot better job putting people in these districts, or I'm not going to win the solo at all. I'm already halfway through the game, so I'm going to try to get some more of these if I'm lucky. Then after that, you look and see, did you connect your goals to get points there? Then you see how many of these yellow star buildings did you draw adjacent to? You add those up. And then what you do is you take the total number of connected tourists of a specific shape and multiply them by the number of matching buildings to get scores for each of the 4 categories. And then that is how you get your total score. And if you get more than what you expected here, then you would win against the solo. So these solo challenges are pretty tough to do. You really have to put some brain power into how you're going to pull it off. And of course, it's a roll and write, so you're going to have some dice that are going to affect what you really can or can't do. All right, let me tell you what I think about it. So this game is a very interesting, puzzly, fun solo game. It is tough to win, which I like. There's a lot of variety in the fact that you have 4 different old ones you can play with, and those do different things. And for the price of this game, you really can't beat the value here. It's quick. It's easy to set up. The rules were a little tough to learn. I don't even know why. They were set up and they had examples, but just for whatever reason, the flow, there was a decent amount of rules for roll and write, but none of them were tough. I don't want to give you the impression, but luckily, the solo game right in the back tells you exactly how to play it, and so you can get right up and running really quickly once you've learned the rules, and that's a big help. This is one of those games I think that you'll be able to pull it off the shelf and play it even several months after you haven't played it before, and you'll be able to get back into it quickly because of this page and some general setup, and I really like that. I think it's fun. I like these kind of roll and writes that are a little bit thinkier, but not too much. And the reason I say that is because this game is still over pretty quickly. It's a half-hour tops, 10 rounds, but you're affected by some of the dice rolling, as you'd expect in a roll and write. And so it's not too complicated because you don't want that in a roll and write, I don't think, because you get hosed by the dice and it feels like, oh, that's frustrating. I spent all this time rolling these dice and I couldn't do what I wanted to do. In this case, sometimes you won't get to do what you want to do, but it's so quick and moves fast, you don't know until the end that you're kind of in trouble. You know, you still have the idea like, oh, if I could just get these routes connected, I can make it all work. And that is cool. That is fun. So this one is really an enjoyable, fun puzzle game that I'd recommend. Now about the theme, it's okay. You know, you get little bits of flavor text on like the setup for your elder or your old one. But look, this isn't going to be a steeped in theme kind of game. It is in the Arkham universe, and so you have familiar places, you have familiar icons, you have familiar concepts. But this doesn't hold a candle to any of the actual, Arkham horror, Eldritch horror, those kinds of games, which are much, 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 much more thematic and immersive. This is just a fun, good roll and write game with a decent theme, pasted on, and that's okay. I don't mind that at all. I have not played its other brother, Innsmouth, yet, but I'm going to do that in the near future. Right now, I'm enjoying this one, playing it, and then I'll branch out. They're very similar in systems, but there's enough. I read the rules in the other one, and there is definitely enough of a twist where the game does feel like you're doing things for specifically different reasons. It's more than just like the Railroad Inc. differences. Well, you can't see us on camera. Of, this one has this bonus, that one has that bonus, this one has this goals. It's a little bit more than that. And so that is cool. I don't think it's like, oh, I wasted my money buying 2 of them. There's enough of a difference in there that the strategy is going to be completely different, as is the feel of the game. But I haven't played it yet, so we'll see. Anyway, hopefully this is helpful. This is a very, very affordable game to pick up and fun to play solo for sure. A lot of challenge in the goals. I wish it came with a box. I'd have paid 10 more bucks for a box, that's for sure. I had to throw it into a box. It doesn't quite fit from something else. And it would be nice if I had something that they would all go into. But it is what it is. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, everybody. And whatever you do in the future, I really hope you have a fantastic time doing it. Take it easy.